Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Mrs. Radel back with another 8th grade video. Today we will be doing Module 1, Lesson 3. Today's goal: I will be able to simplify numbers when I am given a power raised to a power by multiplying the powers together. I will meet this goal by 1. Watching the video and taking notes in my module packet. 2. Doing the examples along with Mrs. Radel in the video. And 3. Completing the problems in Nearpod during class. Let's get started. Lesson 3. Numbers in exponential form raised to a power. So in this box, it gives our law of exponents in the math language. Let's choose some numbers so that it is easier for us to see what the law is. So go ahead and draw a line right down this box, and let's translate it into numbers instead of variables. So we are going to use a base of 3. Our first power is going to be a 4. And our second power, which we are raising 3 to the 4 to, is a 2. So now we know that this exponent of 2 tells us that we are going to be multiplying the base by itself 2 times. So the base in this case is 3 raised to the 4. So we're going to write 3 raised to the 4. And we're going to multiply that 2 times. Because our green exponent is a 2. And so now we have 2 basic bases and powers or exponents. We have our base is 3 and we have our exponent 4. So now we know that that means we are going to multiply 3 4 times. Okay, so we're going to copy down our problem. And now we're going to write it. So we're going to multiply 3 4 times. Okay, because the 4 is the exponent tells us how many times we're going to multiply the base. So we have 4 3's in the one parentheses and we have 4 3's in the other parentheses. And now we can just count up how many times we are multiplying 3 with 3. So let's copy down our problem. And now, how many times do we have a 3? We have a 3 8 times. So we have our base is 3, and we're going to multiply 3 8 times. So we're going to write this as a base of 3, and our exponent is going to be 8. Because we've written down 3 8 times. And what the math language says is we're going to take this m and n right here, and we're just going to multiply them together. So the 4 times the 2 is equal to 8. So we can simplify it to 3 raised to the 8. that is our first rule today. When we have a power raised to a power, we're going to multiply the powers, and we're going to keep the base the same. Let's flip to our next page in our module, and let's talk about this rule. Now we have x times y raised to the n is equal to x to the n times y to the n. So again, let's write a line and let's use numbers instead of variables. Now we're going to look at 5 times, the little dot means times, 5 times 8 raised to the third power. Okay, so again, we know what the exponent tells us. The exponent says, how many times are you going to multiply the base? So this time we are going to multiply the base 3 times because that's what the exponent says. So the base is 5 times 8, and we're going to multiply that copy 2 more times. And now we can copy down our problem, and we can count how many copies of 5s do we have and how many copies of 8s do we have. We have 1, 2, 3 5s being multiplied together. So let's write that as a base of 5 with an exponent of 3. And we have 3 8s. So let's write that as a base of 8 and an exponent of 3. So now we have our rule. When you have 2 numbers multiplied together, raised to a power, you can raise one of the bases to the power times one of the bases raised to the power. Let's do one more example to make it very clear. This time, we are going to have a fraction in our base. We're going to have 5 divided by 8 raised to the 3. So this time we're not multiplying 5 times 8, we are dividing. Again, we can write it out. The exponent means we will write out the base 3 times. Once, twice, 3 times for the exponent 3. So we're going to put this here, 5, 5, 5, and then we're going to put the 8s on the bottom. And now we can just multiply our numerator, our top, with our denominator. So this 5 8s raised to the 3 is the same thing as writing 5 times 5 times 5 divided by 8 times 8 times 8. And we know that when we are repeating the multiplication, it's the same thing as writing the base, and then the exponent is how many times we're repeating it. So we have a 5 that we multiplied 3 times, and then we divided, and we have an 8 that we multiplied 3 times too. So again, when you have two values in the base, two numbers in the base or two variables in the base, and an exponent, we can raise one of the variables to the exponent and then multiply it by the other variable in the base to the exponent. I hope that helps, and I look forward to seeing you in class.